Here are 10 things you need to know before moving to Dallas, Georgia. Point number one is that this is a growing suburb, but it's still a very small town feel. There are a lot of people who are moving to this area. Many people are looking for a lot of the things that we're going to talk about in this video. There's so many great things about living in Dallas, but there are also certainly some downsides to living here as well. And one of those things that this is kind of a small town. It still has that small town feel. So if you're looking for a big city where everything is very easily walkable, then this isn't really the right city for that. This is more of a suburb of Atlanta that's kind of far from Atlanta and really has preserved a lot of its historic charm. And so that kind of small town feel still very much exists here. And that is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. Obviously depends on what you are looking for. But overall, it is a very popular suburb here in Metro Atlanta. So there are a lot of people who are choosing this area to move to and to buy a home in. And so this is certainly a big factor when it comes to moving to Dallas, Georgia. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living. We put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs of Atlanta. The second thing that you should know before moving here is that the homes here in Dallas are very affordable in a housing market where home prices are just continuing to increase every year and like every month, and it's just becoming stupid expensive to buy a house. Dallas is the exception to the rule. You can still find homes here as low as $300,000, and so this is one of the reasons why so many people move here, is for the affordable homes. You can find 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes for as low as $300,000, maybe 4-bedroom, 3-bath homes for high 300s, low 400s. And so this is a really big benefit of living in this area. You could possibly find homes lower than $300,000, but you'd be looking at like a fixer-upper, and so maybe not the right route that you want to go, but certainly more affordable here in Dallas compared to other parts of Metro Atlanta. And even though there are a lot of people who are moving to this area, there still is not as much buyer competition here as there is in other cities like Johns Creek or in Sandy Springs, where there is a lot of buyer competition and you see homes that are on the market for far less time. So in Dallas, you have homes that stay on the market for a little bit longer than other suburbs, and this means that you can get your closing costs paid for, or you can get appraisal paid for, or you can get all kinds of different incentives from the sellers in Dallas because there is far less competition here compared to other parts of Metro Atlanta where there's a lot more competition and it's harder to get those seller incentives. Number 3 on the list is the utilities. If you're going to move to Dallas, you're going to want to know where you're going to get your electricity from, obviously, and where the water is going to come from and how to set up those services. So when it comes to electricity, the main electricity company there in Dallas is Paulding EMC. Dallas is in Paulding County, which is why the name of that company is Paulding EMC. And then for water, it's Paulding Water. Keep in mind that the water company is one of the hardest to deal with and like talk to and set up service. They are, those folks definitely don't want to work there. So they are going to put you on hold for like 20 minutes just to set up service. And then when it comes to natural gas, some of the homes in Dallas have natural gas or use natural gas, and some of the homes don't. This would be for things like the furnace for the home, or the stove, or the fireplace maybe would use natural gas. Those companies would be Gas South or Georgia Natural Gas. Both of those companies are some of my favorites and the ones that I have used in the past, and they work there in the city of Dallas. Of course, if you're thinking about moving to Dallas, or you just have any questions about what it's like to live here, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm a local real estate agent here in Metro Atlanta. Even if you just have a question about what it's like to live here, I'm happy to help. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. Point number 4 when it comes to moving to Dallas is that it is a quiet town and it is kind of out there away from the city of Atlanta, but that means that you're going to have a long commute to the city of Atlanta. So if you're living in Dallas and you're like working in Midtown, you can expect, an hour to an hour and a half commute one way to get to work. And so this is a really big turnoff for many people, and certainly something that you need to think about if you are considering Dallas. And then the same is going to be for going back to Dallas in the evening time from work. There are many people who try to avoid that rush hour traffic by getting on the road super early. You'd have to get on the road by like 6:30, maybe 7 a.m. to try to avoid that rush hour traffic. And then for getting back out to Dallas from Atlanta, you'd have to get on the road by like 3 p.m. And so that rush hour traffic is well underway by 4 p.m. and lasts till about 6:30. That's really when we see the bulk of the traffic. And to get from Dallas to Atlanta for work, one of the main roads that you would use would be I-75, maybe Barrett Parkway to I-75 and then south to Atlanta. There's going to be numerous ways to do it, but those would probably be the most congested roads for that commute. Number 5 on the list of the things that you need to know before moving here is going to be that this is a small town, so there's not a lot of like shopping or restaurants here. Very often the people who live in this area will drive to a neighboring suburb for like going out to eat or whatever on a Friday night. If you're looking for a restaurant, there are obviously some restaurants in Dallas, but there's going to be a lot better options just outside of the city of Dallas. You definitely don't have to go all the way to Atlanta. Marietta is a quick 15-20 minute drive from Dallas, and so there are a whole ton of restaurants and shopping options in Marietta. So very often this is where people go for that kind of for the shopping and for the restaurants, and the commercial spaces are a lot more numerous in Marietta than they are in Dallas. For some people, this is preferred. They don't want all of that commercial and industrial space near their home. And so for that reason, very often people choose Dallas to get away from that. But then for some people, they want to be a 5 to 10 minute drive to the restaurant or to the grocery store. There are grocery stores in Dallas. You don't have to go all the way to Marietta for a grocery store. There are plenty of those in the city of Dallas. But for the majority of the commercial areas, Marietta is one of the biggest nearby cities. And then while we're on that topic, that also means you can often get work in Marietta. People very often work in Marietta and live in Dallas. This is actually very common. There are so many employers in the city of Marietta. UPS, I think, is in Marietta. Lockheed Martin is a big company in Marietta. There's a ton of big companies in Marietta. And so people often live in Dallas, and it's about a 20-minute commute, which is far better than having to drive all the way to Atlanta. Number 6 on the list is the amount of outdoor recreation space that there is in Dallas. There's a ton of things to do outside: parks, trails, hiking, dog parks. The Silver Comet Trail is one of the biggest ones, one of the most popular ones. It's like a paved walking or jogging trail there that goes through the city of Dallas. This is very popular and goes through Powder Springs and maybe even down to like Marietta and Smyrna. It's actually a very long walking paved trail that goes through multiple cities. But this is a big one in Dallas. Sarah Babb Park is another one that's there in the city. So there's definitely lots of options for outdoor recreation in the city of Dallas. Number 7 is new construction. When it comes to finding new construction homes, you don't really find a lot of these in cities like Marietta or Sandy Springs, or these cities that are really close to Atlanta, because they're already, like, for the most part, completely developed. And so these cities that are farther away from Atlanta, they tend to have a lot more new construction because there's space and there's undeveloped land for putting in new neighborhoods. And so Dallas is a perfect example of that. We're seeing lots of new construction homes out in Dallas. So 3-bed, 2-bath home for about 500,000 or 600,000, probably closer to 500,000 actually, now that the market is slowing down. And so it's certainly a great option for finding new construction homes. If you were to find new construction in a city like Marietta or Alpharetta, you're looking at least $9 $900,000 for a home. So to be able to find new construction out in Dallas, that's a great deal, and have that short commute to work in Marietta or Cobb County, this is one of the biggest things that brings so many people to this area. Number 8 on the list of the things you need to know before moving here is that the schools are good. The public schools, they're good here in the city of Dallas, but they're kind of spotty. Some parts of Dallas have terrible public schools and some parts have excellent public schools, and so you really need to do some research. There are many great websites for looking up these school ratings. Greatschools.org is one of the main ones that we use. Also, niche.com is a good one for finding the school ratings. Also, you can call me. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about where are the good schools in Dallas and which ones you might want to, which ones maybe have lower ratings. And so definitely a mixed bag when it comes to the public schools in this city. Number 9 on the list of the 10 things you need to know before moving here is that the downtown area for Dallas is great. There are a lot of little mom and pop shops there, a lot of locally owned stores and restaurants there in Dallas, Georgia. It's small. It's a small town feel, but there is a great little downtown area there in Dallas at the intersection of like Main Street and Memorial Drive. And then number 10 on the list is that there are certainly a lot of great things about living here, but there are obviously some downsides to living in Dallas because every suburb has its good sides and its bad sides. And if you're thinking about moving to Dallas, you really need to have the whole picture so that you understand what it is really like living here. So I've made an entire video outlining the pros and the cons of living in Dallas. You can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next one.